Okay, so a time where we'll be able to have like this Q&A session where we get to answer questions about the program, and you can get to understand what you're about to step into as part of the SDC Launchpad, right? So first of all, how many of us here are either going through the SDC Startup School or have gone through the SDC Startup School? And you just raise your hands. You can just emoji will be fine. Either you're going through it or you've gone through it. Okay, great, great. So love that. So we're surrounded by people who are familiar with the startup school. So the Launchpad program is the next step after the startup school, right? Is the next step after the startup school, and the essence is because while we did the startup school, we realized that people had questions around, oh, I have gone to the school, I'm excited about it, I want to be able to apply the lessons that I've learned, where will I have the opportunity to be able to apply that? And so we had to design a graduate program for the school that allows the students of the school to now work with a lot of support from experts, from myself, take them through that whole process specific to their startup, or those who are even they just want to see what it looks like to be a founder. They can get full on support. So that's the essence of SDC Launchpad, right? And it's passed for eight week. One of the things I want to really mention is that SDC Launchpad is not an incubator program. I'm going to emphasize it again. It is not an incubator program. As a matter of fact, we expect to see our graduates joining incubator programs. And the reason why we say this is because, being an ecosystem enabler, I have, I've had conversations and I've been in good contact with, and still are in good contact with program managers for incubator programs. And one of the things that I keep hearing from these program managers is they have two types of problems. One problem is they keep getting individuals who have gone through other incubator programs joining their own incubator program. So you're seeing founders who have been incubated like 3 or 4 times, still joining another incubator program to get incubated. Second type of problem they have is that the people who apply to join their incubator program are not like a right fit. They have not figured out like those basic things, and so because of that, they find it hard to take them to the next phase. They find it hard to really support them, and so they are not a best fit for their incubator program. And this is something that has been happening over time, and that's one of the reasons why I even decided to start SD Startup School, because I have been part of a lot of these incubator programs as a startup advisor, startup mentor, and that's some things that I saw myself, and that made me launch a startup school to help teach the people who are interested in joining a founders program, teach the people who are very interested in joining the founders program, the incubator program, the very basics, so that by the time they want to apply, they have some form of foundation. But I realized that even after the startup school, there's still a lot of teaching and support that is required, hence the startup school. And so one of the things that we're going to be seeing through the Launchpad is that you would see a lot of some of our students who are joining incubator programs to now like facilitate their growth and their progress. So Launchpad is a graduate program of startup school. And what does that mean? It means that for you to get into the Launchpad program, you need to have gone through the startup school. Like, it's a must. It's an essential part, because everything that will be taught is based on what has been taught in the school. It's a build up. It's the next phase. So if you have not completed the classes, I want to enjoin you. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay. So I want to enjoin you to. I think I'll get to the part for question and answers. So, Tosin, you can just hold on. Once I get to part of question and answer, I'll take your questions. Okay. All right. Tosin, can you hear me? Oh yeah, good. So, so that's a very essential part, because if you've not gone through the startup school, you're going to find it very hard. People are going to be moving faster than you, and you'll be wondering why, because you have to do a lot of catching up on the school's content, right? So that's something to emphasize. Now, the primary goal of the Launchpad program is to get people who are either aspiring to be founders or are doing this founders thing for the first time, and they need a lot of clarity. So confusion for people who are aspiring is, oh, I have an idea, but I don't know where to start from, right? Confusion for the aspiring founders is, oh, I think I'm going to be a founder in the future, but I don't even know, how to know if I'm ready. I don't know how to be prepared. I don't have the required knowledge, and I feel like I might flop when I eventually get to that stage. Do you understand? So that's confusion for aspiring founders. And confusion for first-time founders is, I have started this thing. I had this idea 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I actually started doing something about it, but I have not made any progress. I am still not sure what I am doing. I think I have an app. Okay, I think I have a website, but I've not had any customer. I've not made money. And to be honest, that this second category is something that I have seen happen multiple times. I get DMs from founders who have started doing stuff, but they've not seen any much progress. They've not made progress, right? They've not found product market fit. They've not generated any form of revenue. And the major difference, the major issue for all of them, I would say 99% of them, is just the required knowledge and support. And so that's what the goal of the Launchpad program is designed to address this, move these people from confusion to clarity. So what are the different elements and how have we sort of framed the Launchpad program in such a way that it can give maximum support? First thing you need to know is that you're going to have guest founders. So if you are aware, I'm the host of a podcast called Startup Stories with Cynthia, where I get to share the stories of relatable stories, real stories of founders who are building across the continent, right? And we're going to have some of these founders show up in class for a closed door session. I want to emphasize that closed door because that session is not recorded for a good reason, because these founders get to share some really, really deep secrets and struggles that they are having to get you set, to get you prepared for that world, for that life. And you have founders from across different industries, from fintech to real estate to social enterprise, clean tech, across different industries, just coming to share their stories with you, and you can get to ask them questions. Okay, how did you figure this out? How did you get your first customer? How did you transition? And you get to have those real life experiences from them, talking to you from the bottom of their hearts. The last batch we had, the founder of My Stash, we had the founder of Echo Bata, we had the founder of Near Peers and Your Rider, and a couple of other founders as well come and share their stories. It's definitely something that I always look forward to, because some of the things they will share in that session, they actually have not shared it on the podcast. So I get to learn something new about them and their story, during that session. This second part is the advisory session. I would even say if you decide to miss any other element of the Launchpad, and if you decide, okay, I will not be available for any other, just make sure that the advice session is not part of the things that you would miss out, because the advice session is like at the heart of the entire Launchpad, because that's when you can actually assess if you're building right or if you're building wrong. It's very, very tailored to you, and what you're building. Yes, you would have a roadmap, but along the journey, you might encounter issues. It can be like team issue, financial issue, whatever the issue may be. That's the time where we get to open the box, break everything open, and tear things apart, put things together. It's the 1 hour of intense conversations between you and your team, right? With me. So it's like a very, very critical part of the entire Launchpad, right? A very, very critical part. The expert sessions is another very important part, and that is specifically for founders who are maybe building things that are industry that need a lot of industry insights, right? So in this case, we'll bring an expert from that particular industry or that particular domain to have like a one-on-one session with you. So if maybe you're building something for the logistics space, and you need more insight into how the logistics space works in a particular country, would reach out to an expert who would now have a one-on-one session with you, and you can ask all the questions you need to know before you step your foot into the water. So that's the essence of the expert session. That is outside the advisory hours that you have. And the next is the live sessions, right? The live sessions basically is where you sit down and learn from really incredible tutors who have years of experience in a particular domain. And I'm going to get into some of the things that will be taught during the live sessions. Basically, the sessions are a build up of what we started in the SDC Startup School, right? So what we're going to be teaching in the Launchpad is very, very different from what has been taught in the Startup School. The next one we have is the Showcase Day, and we call it Showcase Day because that's where you get the opportunity to show to the world what you've been working on for 8 weeks. So we bring judges who are industry experts as well, very strong in their field, to come and give you an assessment of what you have been doing. So you get to pitch not just to those judges, but also to the entire world. So that's definitely something to look out for. You get to build confidence with pitching. Obviously, you'll be taught on how to pitch, you know, the best way to pitch, how to present to your audience. But that's an opportunity for you to build capacity when it comes to pitching. And the last but not the least, which is building. The entire 8 weeks, you'll be actively building from day one. Like every single day is going to be focused on building. You're really, really intense. There must be progress every single day for you. Progress every single day for you. And that's the essence of the building session. Okay, that's the essence of the building session. Who is this Launchpad for? I think I already gave insight to it previously, but I'll just emphasize on these two categories. The first one is people who are looking to explore the whole founder life, right? People are looking to explore the founder life. You want to know what it means to be a founder. I've seen a couple of our students who actually came to the Launchpad program specifically because they have a sense that they will become like a founder, like in 2-3 years time, when a couple of things are settled, but they just want to get that preparation ahead of time so that when they are ready, they know what to do, from day one. And the second is for those who are already in there and feeling confused, feeling overwhelmed, not sure, not having a clue on what to do next. Definitely, this is for you. Absolutely, this is literally designed for you. So we have a couple of our past Launchpad launchers. We call ourselves launchers. So if you become a Launchpad student, you become a launcher. So they're going to share with you from their own personal experience how the session and how every single part of the program really, really helped them. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So how do you get into the Launchpad program? What's the process? First is you have to obtain your certificate from Startup School. So that means if you're listening to this and you haven't gotten your certificate from Startup School, I highly recommend that you go obtain yours. It's a very it's something that you can complete within a week, right, of proper study. The class itself was done within a week, so it's something that you can actually complete within a week. Okay, and then 2 is you apply, right? You apply via the application portal, which I'm going to walk you through very shortly. So you apply, deadline is set 1st of March, and if you are selected, you receive an email saying that you've gained admission, and then you pay your program fees, and we resume immediately, right? We resume immediately. So there are 2 types of tracks that we've created for the categories of individuals we're expecting to see at the Launchpad. The first one is the individual track. So you have no idea, like you don't have a specific idea that you want to pursue or you're currently pursuing, but you just want to be placed in a team. So we put you in a team of 4 people in total, and then you guys come together, determine the kind of industry you want to focus on, identify a problem within that industry, solve the problem, generate revenue, and get ready for pitch. That is the individual track. That's the journey of an individual who is going through the individual track. The second is the startup track, right? And the essence of the track is you have an idea, right? You've been doing this for maybe 6 months, 2 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, but you still need a lot of support and a lot of help. And the startup track is really tailored to help you, and it's focused on that particular industry and that problem you're trying to solve. Unlike the individual track where within your team you guys can will have to decide what you want to do. For the startup track, you already have your focus, right? We've had a case where it was just one person. We've had a case where there were already a team of 4 people, so they come in. So for the startup track, we only accept 4 individuals from the team into the program. So if you have about 5 teammates or 10 teammates or and so on, we only accept 4 of your core team into the program. And whatever you guys discuss, you can now share with your larger team. So that's something to recognize. So take note of your questions. We're going to get to it very, very soon. We're going to get to it very soon. For the program scope, apologies, for the program scope, what are the things that we talk about that are going to be taught, especially in the live sessions? First is we are going to be diving very deep into the customer. We have an expert who is going to teach us on how to really think about the customer from when you finally decide that this is the customer you want to serve, and how you actually go about serving that customer. This is someone who has years of experience working across a number of tech startups in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and she will be sharing her a full-on class on that. And we're going to be looking at investor relationship. There's a lot of talk about how to generate revenue, not revenue, sorry, how to go about getting investor, pitching. Yes, you'll be taught on how to pitch, but you also need to know how to manage your relationship with your investors. And that's something that will be taught, with, at a very great measure. So that's something we'll be taught. Growth as well. How do you scale? How do you grow? How do you reach, 100 customers, 1,000 customers, 20,000 customers? What are some of the strategies you're going to employ? We have someone who is currently the growth manager at a fintech startup in Nigeria who's going to be taking that session. We're going to be looking at business models, which is going to be during your advisory sessions. And we're going to bring in someone from, a startup in the Netherlands to come teach on operations, because that's something that we've seen as a gap, right? You want to scale, you want to grow, but you don't know how to manage efficiency within like your corporations, from your team to the processes and so on. And we also have someone from Google who will be teaching on how to design solutions leveraging tech. So these are just some of the key pillars of knowledge that will be shared in the program. So we're going to be starting officially on the 1st of April, which will have onboarding. So by March 31st and April 1st, you should know if you've been accepted into the program, and you go through the onboarding program, the onboarding and the team matching phase before the program activities resume properly on the 8th of April. So we've designed the program in such a way where it's very flexible, and you only get to show up on specific times for specific sessions, and it's very spacious. So you don't have a lot of those physical of those fixed sessions happening within the week, so that you can have more time to build, to really build, right? So that's something that we put into consideration when designing the program. There are a lot of benefits. We've been able to attract a lot of partners who are interested in providing value. So in addition to the core knowledge that you'll be gaining, the building process that you also be going through, we also have a couple of our partners who are providing thousands of dollars worth of support, right, that can help you in your building process, from your website, to the app that you want to build, to emailing your customers, building that mailing list, to managing them, to putting your numbers together as well. And finally, you will also get the opportunity to be featured on the podcast after a few months of building post the Launchpad program, so that you can have a lot of time to build. And then after a while, we'll reach out to you, get some updates, and then have you featured on the podcast. And your story and your startup will be heard by thousands of listeners across the world. So now, to think that all of this value has been compressed into a program fee of $89, that's when we're setting that price, we wanted to set a price that will make it easy for the people who really need the help to actually come on board, but also know but also give us the opportunity to be able to identify the individuals who are going to be very, very focused during the entire program, because it requires a lot of attention, right? So the startup school is free, rightfully so, but the program in itself is paid for. Um, um, yeah, the program itself is paid for. And so for the startup track, you'll be getting it at $89. That's school fee, the program fee for the startup track. So basically, you're coming in with your startup. And for the individual track, it means that you're joining in as an individual and you'll be matched to a team of 4 people in total. So that's the program fee for that. But you would only know when you'll be part of the program for this particular batch when you apply and are given admission this month into next month. Okay, so the doors are open, and also I'm also open to hearing the questions that you have with respect to the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chisom. Please, everybody, we're online. Give a round of applause. Send your messages, send your emojis. Why are we not doing something? Chisom just gave us $1 million speech. Do you know what it means to get Chisom? Please, please, thank you. Let's do better. Thank you. So right now, thank you so much, Chisom. I hope you understood what she said, and I hope you also heard the passion in her voice and how much she wants found like you not to go through challenges popular people go through or people go through. Thank you for understanding. So right now, we are going to listen to founders that have experienced things you're experiencing or you experience, and the Launchpad program or the SDC Launchpad has helped them to navigate this process or this journey, right, in their life. So we're going to listen to Anyoha Paul, the founder of Agripella. Hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And good evening, success.
Hi, good evening. How are you? Thank you so much for staying. I will ask you 3 questions and, just feel free to answer. So the
Okay.
first one is, what actually drew you to the SDC Launchpad? How do you know about the SDC Launchpad?
Oh, okay. So initially when I started up, I was still trying to put my MVP, minimum viable product, in place. So I have a friend who is experienced in the ecosystem. He's part of the team that built Tribal Pay, a fintech startup. So he was my UI UX designer at some point, and he's quite into the ecosystem. And I think she knows Cynthia on a personal level. So he told me about the program. Then I registered, but more like I joined the SDC founders community, because I think it was from that community that the startup school first it started. For the 1 week program kick started from the founders community there. Then during that 1 week program, Cynthia, that was the first time I experienced Cynthia actually educating us about likely challenges, and she gave a very good background of what to expect as a founder, key areas. But she did that on it was in depth, but more on a surface level. But you could see that what you need to learn as a founder is deeper than because most times when we start up, we just try to think we are there already, or we just need to do a few things and we get it right. But during the startup school, she was able to take us through the rudiments, what to expect as a founder. So when she did that, I understood that I needed to get into the understanding of the the concept of what it means to be a founder. What is a startup, like to redefine myself, to define what I'm doing, understand the meaning of becoming a founder, understanding what a startup means. You know, so that startup school opened my eye to the fact that I needed to get into this program and get more insights and be ready to invest myself into educating myself in what it means to be a founder and what it implies to be devoted to solving a problem for a particular sector. So that was what drew me closer because of it. When Cynthia was explaining some certain things, I knew that she has a full grasp of what the ecosystem needs or what founders need to understand about the ecosystem. So that was what drew me to knowing that I need to be part of the Launchpad program. So after the 5 days startup school, I knew that I have to get into the program. So there was no hesitation at all. After the 5 days program, I got into the Launchpad. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That's so inspiring, and I like how, let's say, vulnerable you are when you spoke. So I'm going to ask another question. Can you share how the SDC Launchpad has helped your startup grow and adapt in a fast-paced environment like ours?
Okay. I think anything I'm saying now is personal to me. Maybe another person who passed through the school alongside, who was in the same cohort as me, might have a different experience, but this is just peculiar to myself and my team, right? So when I started, there was no coordination there. I had no method. I didn't know what method a founder should use in maybe validating the problem he's trying to solve, discovering his customers, understanding how your solution would align or synchronize with the problem you are trying to solve, because there needs to be a synergy between solution and problem. Otherwise, the market fit is definitely going to be a problem. So Shisom gave us an in-depth, and not just her. Of course, I would give her the credit, but the most important thing about the Launchpad program is that Shisomi is not the repertoire of knowledge. So she brings in uh, industry experts, other founders who have gone through these processes, who have experience to educate us on their experiences and what it takes and likely challenges and what to expect. They give us this preparation to get ourselves ready on what to expect. So in terms of uh, discovering what method to use to validate my SSCs, I think the Launchpad program made me to understand that being a founder or building a startup has its own methodology. I think I've spoken about this before. People who are familiar with sciences and the method of science, where you start with observation to hypothesis, then theory, then you test out the theory, and also that methodology is quite scientific because it's all about observation. It could be the observation of the problem the particular industry you are trying to solve for is undergoing. Then when you observe it, you might have to create a theory on that. You might have to test out your theory, just a scientific method, induction, right? So from particular observation, but you have to put your observation through a rigorous process to be able to validate or iterate, coming back to ask more questions. And Chisom puts us step by step how to do this. So you won't, as a founder, be acting in vacuum without any concrete evidence to the problem you are trying to solve, or without any concrete evidence to the solution you are bringing in, right? So with this program, you can stand on your feet and trust that what you are doing would definitely yield results, because you are putting it through a rigorous process of testing, through engaging your customers. And that's another thing she always emphasized: how to interact with the people you are solving for, understanding that the solution is not what you have to lead with, but the problem needs to be overemphasized. The problem needs to be investigated. The problem has to be dissected. So when you are bringing in a solution, you know that the solution you are bringing is, without a doubt, has something to do with resolving whatever problem you have discovered. So that is basically what the Launchpad program has done for me. It coordinated my affairs. It made us understand that there is a method to doing this. Of course, once there's an idea, we want to fly with it. We think this idea is so like the idea is just, there is nothing nobody can tell you. The idea is it. But I'm sorry, the Launchpad program will break your heart in a very good way. It will make you realize that maybe your idea, as beautiful as it might be, you just be ready to know that maybe there will be a lot of maybes. You might have to rethink, or, like I said, iterate. Make sure that the idea is not just an idea. You must make it work. The SDC Launchpad program will make you work on your idea. Just get ready to work on it, because if the idea doesn't meet the criteria or the metric to problem discovery, customer discovery, product market fit, you just have to come back to see a way to either readdress or find other means of solving a problem. That's if the problem is really a problem, because at the end of the day, you are trying to build a business. The motivation to build a business is to make sure you are making profit. So if your idea is not that which would yield results, then I'm sorry, but the important thing is that you are in this program for you to find out. So just be ready to find out. Thank you.
Much, Paul. So I want to ask the question: what advice will you give to someone that is still hesitant to register and sign up?
I think I don't know if the program will be done the same way it was done in our own, where there was a 5 days program, the startup school, right? If it's going to be done that exact way, I think that would give you, like the founders here, the new founders who intend to get into this program, it will give you a glimpse of what to expect. But another thing is that there will be advisory sections. If you get to look for an advisor in your industry, you might not even be able to get hold of the big players in the industry you are trying to solve for. But the Launchpad program will not only give you an advisory section, more like a consultancy section where a startup advisor is giving you advice based on what you are doing, trying to get. Shisomi is going to get personal with you, personal with your product, personal with your idea. She wants to get involved. She's going to help you dissect everything and make sure that you are doing the right thing. And not just that she's so, as humble as she always appears to be, Shisom knows people. Shisom gets connection. You understand? She's going to connect you. You might not find this elsewhere. I know what Shisom did for me. I'm solving for the in the agri-tech space, right? Shisom has connected me to big players in my industry. 101. I know them now. I know them. Where if I should go to other events where I see them, they see me, they will recognize me, will speak. Why? Because she so enabled me to connect with these people. She gives you update on certain programs that revolves around your sector, so you get involved and listen to players within your sector. And not just that, she has the ability to connect you 101 with top players in your industry. So it's rare what she brings to this program. So I would advise anyone to get into this program and be sure of progress and result at the end of it.
Thank you so much. Like, guys, they say hold Chisom tight. If you did not hear anything, just hear that Paul is saying hold her tight. Don't leave her. Do not leave her. Okay. Chiam, Christopher, we'll get your questions at the end of the session. Please, let's put a round of applause. Let's show Paul an appreciation. Thank you so much for everything you've said this night. Now we're going to welcome Precious, the co-founder of Verbal. Precious was one of the last graduates from one of the graduates from the last set, and I know he has a lot to say. Hi, Precious. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you so much, Paul, for all that you said. Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So we'll ask the
Yeah.
same set
Before
of
you ask your question, I want to say something. I really feel jealous for the next set of for the next batch of Launchpad guys. I
I think
really feel
so.
jealous for them because when Chisom was mentioning some of the facilitators that are coming on board, I felt like, God, why can't I just be part of this one as well? I hope there's room for that anyway. So I really do feel jealous for you guys because you guys are going to be having amazing people come show you how things work in the real world and all that kind of stuff. Congratulations in advance. Yeah, you may
Okay.
now proceed. Success.
Okay, thank you. So the first question I'm going to ask, what initially drew you to the SDC Launchpad?
Okay, I think my story is in a way similar to that of Paul. So I know somebody who is in close contact with Cynthia and Tribal Pay as well. That's Sheon Daniel. I don't know if Cynthia knows Sheon Daniel. I'm sure she knows him. So Sheon Daniel is a friend, and he posted about SDC, and about that time I just got in validation for my idea in an event I went to pitch, right? And I had some folks say, okay, I like your idea, I'd like to work with you and all that kind of stuff. So I think just about a week or 2 weeks after, he posted something about the SDC startup, and I've never been part of any startup program. I've attended a lot of business programs and all that, but nothing that is in that sense for startup. I saw it and I'm like, okay, let me register. I had a bit of my doubts actually from the beginning, so I missed the first class, and then on the group I saw a lot of messages, how people not even on the group now. So a friend of mine who also was part of the 5 days program posted something interesting and exciting about what she had just experienced the day before. And I went into her DM immediately. Are you part of the SDC program? So she said yes. Is it that interesting and all that? She said yes. She tried to share a few of the things she learned. I'm like, okay, today I have to be part of the program. And then that was a Tuesday. From Tuesday onward, I had some of the most amazing moments. I mean, my eye was open to so many things that I didn't know before. At the time, I was just putting all together the idea, documenting everything, trying to work with some of my friends to see how we can go about it. Because I've gotten validation. The validation was what pushed me. If I had not gotten that kind of validation, I probably would have just continued what I was doing, right? Working where I was working and all that kind of thing. And then that validation pushed me. Then Sean posted about it. I would say I applied because I felt okay. I think I needed this, but I wasn't expecting anything until I saw another friend post about I experienced the first day. That was a Monday. And then I'd be like, okay, I think I have to be part of this. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was there. I experienced everything firsthand. And then Launchpad came. I'd be like, no, I have to be part of Launchpad no matter what. Right. So that was the experience for me. So I think my story is almost similar to that of Paul. Sean is a friend to Tribal Pay. I think he's also a friend to Chisom in a way because I've seen a video of both of them together. Sean Daniel is the founder of Grow Lights. I don't know if Chisom remembers him or knows him. Yeah, he's the founder of Grow Lights. I and Sean are friends, and he's even on the team as advisory in that sense. Yeah, we talk a lot. So yeah, that was what pushed me to be part of SDC and then Launchpad in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Precious. From Precious' story, we can see the power of network, right? The people you have in your circle and around you. It's important to associate with the right people. So the next question is, can you share how the SDC Launchpad helped you grow your startup and scale?
Yeah. One first thing is the knowledge. I think that is one thing that SDC Startup School is doing. That knowledge gap. There's a lot of knowledge gap for people who are who want to be startup or who are aspiring to be startup in that sense. So there's so much. I've been around tech for a while, and I would always say this thing everywhere and anywhere I find myself: product market fit. I've read about it while I was taking some classes in product management, but I didn't attribute so much importance to it. I didn't take it to be something that's overly too important for any product. I had to take product management class because I'm a product designer. So I took a class sometime late 2022 on product management. So that was where I first heard the word product market fit. But I didn't ascribe so much importance to it as to how it plays out in the eventual success of any startup. So, having gotten validation, I didn't think I had properly structured product market fit. That knowledge gap was existent. And then SDC Startup School is there to, bridge that gap in that sense. And that was one very good experience I had. And that was one of the biggest benefit I had. Being part of from SDC to eventually to Launchpad. I started the journey of just moving away from validation to, is this product fit for the market? Is this product something the market needs? Do they need it? Can they pay for it? Even if they can pay for it, how much can they pay for this for this service or this product in that sense? Going through that journey, started from research. I had done research in a small scale, but being part of STC and then the Launchpad made me do more in-depth research, right? Together with the team, we did more in-depth research. We then came to understand what we needed to do, and how you should do it better. At the moment, we are in development already. Our design is 70%, 75% done. So development has started in its small scale already. So by mid second quarter, we are we're likely to start begin to launch our product in that sense. From next week, I mean, I'm going to post this on the SDC community group. We're creating our waiting list. By next weekend, we're doing that. So, I mean, those are some of the benefits I had to enjoy through the program. The knowledge gap. There was a point in time while we were in the program, there was this. It had to do with communication in a way amongst the team, and it had to do with, you know, when you're working with friends, you tend to overlook certain things that are very important, right? I mean, when it comes to sharing responsibility, down to how you want to split equity and all that. We've not really gone so much into that. But I mean, we came into better understanding on how our team dynamics should play out, right? This was one major issue we experienced, and you know, being part of Launchpad during one of our advisory session, we came at a resolution. I mean, after the 1 hour session, we had it with Cynthia. We spent some other 3 hours talking about this thing, and since then, our team dynamics has been impeccable. I mean, everyone is doing what they're supposed to do. We are communicating effectively and all that, and I mean, we know what's expected of ourselves and how I mean, that actually helped foster a lot of speed for us in that sense. It's pushed us quick and faster in that sense, and we've been working efficiently and effectively ever since, and our communication has been really good. I mean, another thing that I benefited from was the stories of other founders, right? And I would always go back to some of those people whose story really inspired me. The guy from my abode, my stash. I work with my stash, so I know a bit of the story. But I mean, he coming onto the program to speak made me understand more into some of the things I don't see that goes on at the back of the scene, right? I mean, I joined my stash when they had 4 co-founders, and eventually they are. This call is being recorded. Jesus, I'm not supposed to be saying this. Okay, yeah. I mean, getting to know all that story, and it allowed me to understand how things. If you're going to be posting this, please let me cut out that part where I mentioned that. Okay, it allowed me to understand how things could always play out at the back of the scene with founders, right? And how, you know, early on, your naivety could make you do certain things, and then when you get into the crux of it all, you begin to realize that, oh, I wish I hadn't done this. I mean, it took away all that sense of naivety that I could have had approaching startup, approaching anything I want to do with anybody, be it friend or be it friends that have always been with me over time, or people I'm just meeting for the first time. Say, for example, I met Paul during Launchpad, and we want to have to do something together. I know how to approach things that I might want to do with Paul going forward. I mean, if I had not been part of startup, I probably would have I would have approached it with naivety. It's some measure of naivety, and probably got certain things wrong from the beginning. And you know, hearing the stories of these founders, getting some of the education from some of the facilitators that came to speak was really key. One other thing we benefited from, again, I've been saying actually it's the team we benefited from, again, is so what our product plays around the fintech space. You know, there was a facilitator that came. I'm bad at remembering names now, so I can't remember his name, who came to talk about regulations around the fintech industry. I mean, that was really a huge plus for us. We had to go do a lot of research around these things. I mean, because we are doing fintech and would need a banking firm that would help us hold money and how we want to do all these things. I mean, we went to do a lot of research. We're still doing our research. We've come at some findings, and we already know those people we want to approach. We might still have to come back to Cynthia eventually. I'm sure she's going to have to charge us for this anyway, which we wouldn't mind, right? I mean, how to go about all these things, right? I mean, if we hadn't been part of Launchpad, and the SDC Startup School, we wouldn't know to want to do these things. The knowledge of these things are existent, but we would have been doing so many things wrongly. Would have been paying money for things we shouldn't have been paying money for, or even if we should pay money, we'll be paying excessively for it and still not be getting what we're supposed to get, right? So Cynthia in a way helped close that gap. I mean, she the way they say the internet is borderless. She brought that borderlessness within the knowledge space for us. I mean, things that you probably watch on YouTube and you'll be confused, more confused than you ever were, right? She brought those things closer to us to understand. She brought those things near at our own proximity with the use of those facilitators, with the wealth of our own knowledge and all that. I mean, it was really a big plus for us. And as Paul said when he was speaking, he said one other benefit he had was the fact that she drew him closer to some of the big players in his own industry, in agriculture, in the agricultural industry or agri-tech in that sense. She drew him closer to. I mean, Cynthia is someone that she's down to earth and she's ready to contribute to anything you're doing. I mean, it like say she carry a matter for head past herself. Yeah, that's the way I see her. She carry a matter for head past herself, and it's a very interesting quality from someone like her. I should say, I mean, I've been crushing on Cynthia from the get-go, right? I really love her personality. I love her dress sense. I love her energy. I mean, this week I was working and I had to tune into listen to a podcast. I listened after I was listening to We Creators. And I mean, I like all that she's doing for the community. And I hope I always whisper that prayer in my heart anytime I remember SDC Startup School that she gets her flowers eventually one day. I mean, what she's doing is massive, it's great. And that's why I say anytime I'm called upon to come and do anything for SDC, trust me, I'm always going to be available because she's had one indelible mark in my life and in the life of what we're building in that sense. So it's an investment that is worth it. You get 1,000% ROI on this investment you're about to do, and it's not something you'd always look back. If you're really, I mean, I have to also mention this. There are some people who were in the Launchpad program with us, and I'm certain they probably, I mean, I would say they probably had a bit of doubt, or they probably didn't approach the program the way some of us did, right? And if you approach this program with the whole of your heart, you look beyond the aesthetics. And some people would always say, for example, there's this ALX venture program that is on. Some people would always put price over that compared to startups SDC. But the truth is, you won't get the closeness, the proximity to knowledge, the proximity to these facilitators the way you would get it from SDC. And that's why I said Cynthia is one very humble and down-to-earth person, and she would carry your matter on her head like it's ours. And that's one thing you won't get anywhere. And it's best to take advantage of that right now before she becomes global, because I see her becoming global soon. By the time she becomes global, she'll not have time for all that, right? So and this is just to say, take advantage of that right now. Take advantage of the network, the relationship, and don't take it for granted. Don't take Launchpad for granted for any reason. I mean, if our startup becomes global tomorrow, our startup becomes a unicorn tomorrow, our startup, even if it's not a unicorn, if it becomes well recognized in Nigeria, in West Africa, in Africa, I would always refer back to Cynthia and refer back to Launchpad. No matter where we are at, it's always going to be the start of every of our story. It's always going to be the start of my own story into startup venture in that sense. And so please, if you're doing this now, please don't relegate it in any way. If you're trying to compare it with any other big stuff that are out there, they would probably not even give you something as close as you'll be getting here. And do it with the whole of your heart. Be present in every meeting. Take advisory sessions serious. Whatever she's instructed you or advised you to do, get at it. Do it to the fullest, right? I mean, one thing she acted on with us was our research. and then we did our research, and our research opened our eyes to more realities. And then during the showcase, one of the judges spoke about something. Go and research on Bumper, go and research on these guys that are playing in your industry. And so, I mean, we went to do our research and we're like, okay, we've been playing small. We need to play big. We need to play bigger, even if we're trying to build our MVP. And then since then, we have started seeing loopholes and we're working on that. In fact, in our design and our approach on the technology side, these are some of the things we're doing. We've bought all the domain name that we need to buy. We're working on certain services that needs to, I mean, if we hadn't been part of the Launchpad program, we wouldn't know to do things that way. We wouldn't know to do things the way we're trying to approach it now. And we would just leave Launchpad and then we just sit our ass down and do nothing. Right. And it's just been a great experience for all of us. Paul was a very committed member to the program. Paul, KG, and a host of other guys, Ridwan. I'm surprised it's only I and Paul that is always preparing for this thing. I expect the rest of them to be here because, I mean, they carried it on their head too, right? And so please carry it on your head like it's where you get your daily bread from. Just the way Cynthia will carry you guys on her head rather. And it's always a great thing to be connected with Cynthia. I would always say that every other time. It's a great thing to be connected to Cynthia. And yeah, I think I've said so much already. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. To be honest, I'm hearing a couple of things for the first time from both of you. I mean, given how much
Okay.
time we spent together in a couple of weeks, right? But thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, the essence is, you know, to give you guys something that I never had. I think there's a part of my story that some of you might not be aware of about the launchers. I think I've shared it a couple of times. But a few years ago, I was, starting out my own startup, and I've gotten to a point where I had reached like a certain peak. I did not know what to do next, basically, right? I knew that I needed to grow, I needed to move forward, but I didn't know what to do next. And so for me, what I had to do was pay tens of thousands of dollars to go to Imperial College Business School and take a degree on entrepreneurship, innovation, and management, right? And that entire, 18-month program exposed me a whole lot. And I realized that, I can't even imagine what other founders are going through in Nigeria who probably never have the opportunity to be able to take such an expensive trip to a prestigious school like that. What can I do to be able to reduce that, close that gap, and increase the chances of us having very sustainable startups, very sustainable businesses in Africa, given the fact that the knowledge and the opportunity isn't readily available. And so that's what SDC Startup School is trying to do, and the SDC Launchpad is trying to do, is to be able to close that gap and make it easier, make it truly, truly easier. I just like Precious said, it is really for people who are going to be committed. It's going to take a lot of work. You're going to be actively working almost every single day. So the time commitment required is super, super essential. But I appreciate Paul and Precious again for showing up and sharing your journey and sharing your story. I mean, the backstory. I mean, I'm just hearing a couple of things for the first time. Thank you for sharing that. And to every other person, I think we're already at the question and answer session. So just let me know what questions do you have, so that I can answer them for you. Okay, Christopher, go ahead.
Okay, thanks so much to you, Cynthia. Thanks to every other person who has spoken this evening. I've just been listening quietly, although I don't have a pen and a paper or a jotter here, but I've been jotting things in my brain. And I think I'm already hooked into what the value proposition of the startup school is. But I think I've got some few questions to ask. First, I keep hearing Launchpad and Startup School. I wasn't there from the beginning. I think I joined almost toward the end of your presentation. So, what's the difference between these two? And you were putting the rate in dollar. So, what's the naira equivalent, or what rate are you using so that, because I know we're not really going to pay in dollars, we're going to pay in naira, and most of the people here are Nigeria. So maybe for the Nigerian counterparts per se. Then I don't know how very engaging the training would be, because I'm thinking I work, right? I work morning to say 5:30, and how will I be able to combine this with my work at the time? And then the fourth question I have is, I heard you saying said something about when you're interested or when you want to join, you will if you want to come in through the individual track, you'll be joined matched up with three other persons to make a team of four. And then or if you already have a startup per se, a group of your I'm sorry, a team that you already have, then that's a different track. But what if you want to just do it just yourself, and you've not yet built a team yet, and you don't want to join the others because I have an idea. Okay, let me just personalize it. I have an idea. This is what I want to do, but I just need clarity on how to build on this. Do I still come under the individual track or under the startup track? So these are my questions. Thanks and over.
All right. Thanks, Christopher. I'll start with your last question. Your question is very similar to that of KG's question during a startup school. She asked the same question because she wanted to join in as she doesn't have it. She didn't have a team at that time. And so yes, you go through the startup track. And it's funny how during the program, during the SDC Launchpad, KG found a co-founder for her startup eventually. So when you join as an individual, if you have specific kind of skills that you're looking for in a particular teammate, we can match you up to someone who is on the individual track to join you, right? And you guys can build together. But yes, you can join in as a startup, and you can focus on what you're building. Your sessions are going to be just for you, and as you build, as you grow, if there's a need to add or match you to someone else so that that person can support you on your own idea or your startup, that person can be a part of that. To the question on the difference between the SDC Launchpad and startup school, so I'll use the website, right? So if you go to www.sdc startup school, um, you would see that the startup school is a live class, right? Series of live classes that you take in the school's learning management system, right? And so what that means is that you remember that those 5-day classes that Precious and Paul went through. Yes, so that those classes were recorded, right? So those classes are now what we have on the learning management platform. We're using Seller for that. So you just go through the classes online at your pace. It's self-paced. Is recorded, so you can just watch at your pace, go through that foundation, get the knowledge, get your certificate, and then the Launchpad program. So the Launchpad program is the 8-week program that you now have to join with other people live and direct, right? But the startup school, you're the only one. Every other person is watching, but they're watching from like different countries across the world. But it's just you in your room. But in the Launchpad program, you're in class with other people who are also building actively. You guys are sharing and growing together within the 8-week program. And then for the price point, so for the Naira, obviously we understand like the entire Naira valuation. So we've been able to put the price on the page, right? So as you can see here, the individual track is $39 for those who are coming from outside. And then those who are in Nigeria, they pay 39,000 Naira. And the same thing goes for the startup track. I think there was one other question. Please remind me what the last question is. Christopher, your last question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
I said no, you've answered all the questions.
Okay, all right, great. So, any other person, any other question? Okay. So I'll take that as the last question. Okay. Yes, please go ahead. Can you say your name? I see ED Forum. I know that's not your name. So you can.
Yes, sorry. My name is Khonzu Matladi. I tried to log in with another, I think it's my profile for the forum.
Okay.
But my name is Khonzu Matladi. Thank you so much for this platform. I joined the S the it's not the Launchpad, the school, the
Startup
startup
school.
school,
Yeah.
SDC. I think it was in December. I don't know how I came about it, but it was really a godsend. I saw it on LinkedIn and I just started being on it, and it has really changed my perspective. But it's such a needed thing at this time of what we're going through, just as a continent, and as Africans in different ways. So I'm really thankful for what you're doing, and know that the seeds that you're planting are going to be multiplied. My question is to find out. So I know I won't be able to join this cohort now, but I wanted to find out the selection criteria, and to find out if, for instance, I know I will make a provision to join the next cohort, if there will be another cohort this year. And so if I want to start maybe paying towards that, is that possible?
Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And there's going to be another track. There's going to be another batch coming up later this year. Um, so you can definitely work towards that. So for that, what you can do is you can make an application, because we have a partner who is sponsoring, who actually paid for scholarship for two individuals. So what you can do is you can apply, and if you scale through, you can get the scholarship for that, or you can just apply and also make it clear in your application that you would love to pay towards like the next program, and then the team can reach out to you and put you through what the process is. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And just one question. Is it possible? So I want to apply for myself as a founder for my enterprise, but what I've recently done is that I'm an operations officer for a social enterprise, and I feel what you guys are offering works hand in hand. So is it ideal? Because I would want our team to actually, this is going to be part of our developmental something that we actually do it. Like I've
Yeah.
already, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe would it be possible to join first as myself and
Okay.
then them join, because I think we'll be 4 or 5, but maybe for them to join as well, because I'm going to somehow make us club in and to join this and make this actually our developmental plan or whatever. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. That's so just to get it, you have your own personal startup and you want to join for your own personal startup, and then you're working somewhere else and you want to get other members of that team to be a part of it as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, yes, that's possible. That's very possible.
Okay,
Will
thank
they
you.
will this be happening at the same batch or two different batches? When I mean
Um,
like batch, I mean like a cohort.
yeah, I think I would, because I want to take to maybe in different times, but I'll see with their
Yes.
availability as well. But I want to have my, not
Yeah.
moment to shine, but my own time to figure things out
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, but I think maybe it will be 2 different times.
Okay.
I think it will
All
be
right. That's
ideal that way. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So just in your application, just make it clear that you would, love to pay forward and just want to know what the plan is, and then someone from the team will reach out to you and set up a call and all of that.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Christopher, I see your hands are raised.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so two questions. The first one is, what's life after the school? What's the plan? And what are the benefits per se? Then the second question has to do with the case studies. Are they African stories about African startups? Because most times when I see people do startup school, most times they use case studies of European countries, startups or American startups or startups outside Africa. So, but because of the peculiarity of the African context or the African ecosystem per se, are the case studies going to be from African startups? So these are my questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the students here can testify to that. That's something that is very big for me, right? That's something very big for me. Like even going abroad to study was like coming out of like an entirely different. That was one of the biggest motivations for starting a startup school because the geographical context is just too wide, too different, too far apart, and so there are a lot of things that are not relatable. Which is why the startup school is very, very tailored. A lot of the things that are taught there are things that you cannot find anywhere because it was designed specifically for the African context. And yes, so every founder that's going to be at the Launchpad is an African founder. So that's definitely and so life after Launchpad, I think I'll just give the students because they are the ones who have gone through that. I can give like a pathway, but they're already experiencing what life is like after the launchpad. But one thing that you need to know once the launchpad is over for you, you have quarterly sessions, right? So every quarter, all the launchers everywhere around the world would come together for a call. We share the progress, challenges, and everybody can sort of support each other. And that sort of motivates you to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep building because you are surrounded by people who are also building, across the world and are sharing ideas and sharing thoughts. So that's definitely something that happens post the program. If you decide to join an incubator program or if you decide to just build yourself, you just know that the founder the quarterly meetings are like super important and very, very essential. And also you have the founders community, so you can still be part of the SDC founders community going forward. But I'll just give like maybe Paul or Precious to just tell us like life after the launchpad. Yes, yeah, exactly. So I think for Paul was able to get a co-founder and they were able to close their sale, like their first client after the program. Paul, yeah, you can just, life after Launchpad. You can just tell us like in a minute what
Okay.
life after Launchpad,
Okay. So it's just like when you graduate from the your university, your lecturers keep asking you, what are you doing now? What do you do now? So it's similar thing. You have to take what you've learned. The Launchpad program is quite practical. It's not a theory. You have to show what we're working. So you it's to show more of how you've transitioned from what you've learned in the program or what you've been doing in the program to actually getting it to be more pragmatic in terms of getting closer to your customers and trying to close down transactions. That was something we're really trying to get even before we graduated from the Launchpad program. I was trying to close down a deal, but I wasn't able to do that. But I knew I needed another hand on board, and I got my co-founder from an event. They call it Founders Friday, from an event that Cynthia is part of the organizers. So I attended the event. The first time I attended, I got interacting because one thing about founders, you need to be networking, you need to interact, you need to speak about your product, you need to be eloquent about your product, you need to just even a situation that doesn't involve your sector or your industry, find a way to bend, I won't say be a narcissist for your product, but it's more like that. Find a way that the conversation will be about your product. So that was it. So I got speaking to a lady, and from there, I realized that she has been wanting to get into the industry, and probably similar thing with what I'm doing. And just with the Launchpad program, of course, we teach you how to find your co-founders, the things to look out for, character-wise, skill-wise, and the like. So I found that in her, and it's been amazing. I think it's almost 2 months now since I found her, and since she became my co-founder, things started moving in the right direction. I think a month after she got in as my co-founder, we closed our first deal. She at the moment she has like two or three customers on the pipeline who are going to be like voluminous founders, because these are stores which we expect to purchase in volume. So it was really awesome, and this is life after Launchpad. You have to go back to the drawing board, like the jotter or whatever book you use as your Launchpad program notebook. You have to carry it all along with you. Don't throw it away and start doing whatever. You have to carry it along. You have to go back to it, look through it, and make sure whatever you are doing conforms to certain metrics. So life after a Launchpad doesn't mean you've disassociated yourself with Shisom. As you can see, we are still in communication with her. She's still interested. She still wants to hear you out. She's really happy. When I told her I've closed down my first transaction, I think she was even happier than me. She's a well-wisher. She's proud to see us doing well. And I think the Launchpad program, they want to do, I've forgotten the name they gave to it, a quarterly checkup on students like us who have graduated from the program. So on quarterly basis, they want to get us together in a meeting to listen to us, check up on us and know how well we are doing, stumbling blocks, challenges, progresses. So life after Launchpad program doesn't mean life without Launchpad program. Shisomi is still interested in knowing what is going on with us. So that is it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul, for sharing that. So life, after the program varies from startup to startup, right? Precious now, they are building their MVP. They are building up their waiting list. They're going to launch, right? So it just depends on your roadmap, which is what will be discussed during the entire Launchpad program. I hope this answers your question, Christopher. Christopher?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Thanks.
All right. Great. Victor, any questions from you? Okay, so I take that as no. So yes, thank.
Okay. Well, so sorry. I was speaking to muted mic. So there's one question from me. You said the program is starting end of this month, right?
Yes. So you need to apply between now and 31st. Now and 31st. Yes.
Okay, all right. And then you also made mention of scholarship available. I don't know. How is that?
Yes.
What material?
So we have one of our partners who decided to sponsor 2 individuals through the program, right? So individuals will be taking the individual track, but you need to first of all apply. Like we need to see that this is a strong applicants, someone that will be able to go through the program. So once you apply, you go through the application and see if you qualify for that. Also, the partner will be involved in the entire selection process. Last batch, Prosper, the fintech company, actually sponsored 4 individuals. So this time around, Cloud Plexo, they are sponsoring 2 individuals. So each cohort is usually one partner who is sponsoring a couple of individuals to the program because he really wants a lot of founders to be able to participate in them. But you need to first of all apply through the general application. If you are among the top founders and you qualify for the scholarship, you will get an email saying you've got a scholarship. If you're selected for the scholarship. So yeah, that's it. Any other question, Victor?
No, 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 no. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I have dropped the link to the website, www.startupschool.com/launchpad. You see the application link. You can just apply straight up and wait for the end of the month to know what the next steps are for you. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, send an email to success@sdschool.com, and she'll be there to respond to you and any questions that you may have. Success.s. I think I'll just drop it for you guys on the chat box. But yeah, this has been a great time. Thank you so much, Precious and Paul, once again for lending your time. You guys are very busy founders, so I appreciate you showing up and sharing your thoughts. And I definitely wish you all the best in your building process. We're definitely going to have you guys a few months from now sharing your story on the podcast. You're building your journey and inspiring as many African founders as you can all over the world. So well done to everybody, and thank you all for showing up. And I hope to see you at the next batch of the SDC Launchpad. Take good care of yourself and cheers, everybody. Cheers.